You know, I know we talked about doing a high rocks, and I'm also just not big on like fads. So it's like, and maybe it's not a fad. Maybe it will stick around for a long time. People call CrossFit a fad. It's still around. Here we go.
Any goals for 2026?
I don't know. If I come up with an idea at a time to do something, I just normally do it. I don't wait till the end of the year. Not saying that that's a bad thing. It's good to have reflection and, you know, look at how the past year has gone, what things you could adjust. I guess it's a good checkpoint for that kind of stuff. For me, it's always like, okay, you got a goal, do it. And it starts now. It doesn't start tomorrow, it doesn't start next Monday, it doesn't start next month. Goal starts now. Because anytime you just start to push shit off, you know, then you have all these excuses of why you can do maybe things you wouldn't normally do, or, you know, you give yourself these basically this slack to eat shitty food, not work out, you know, drink more than you should, things like that. So I typically don't tend to do that kind of stuff. You know, I've been pushing for the 500 squat. Legs are starting to feel good again. You know, it just comes in waves. I hit 435 a couple nights ago, and that felt really light. So I went for 445 and just wasn't there. But, you know, the 500-pound squat would be awesome. I'd like to start running more with the new UFOs because it feels so good. And I had after that workout we shot for last week, I had no knee pain whatsoever. So that was awesome. Super pumped on that. You know, I'm definitely a gym rat. Like, I love working out. I love going to the gym. I love pushing myself. You know, I want to look fit. I want to be fit. I want to beat my kids in sports. I want to be strong. I want to be capable. You know, those are all my motivators. I don't need like an event per se, even though it is very nice to have something that I'm training for. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's me always trying to have to prove myself that, you know, I'm not weak. You know, like I never want to like eat no matter what. If you know, say Rich or Dan or any of those guys walked in the room, like if we did a workout, I'd want to win. You know, it's just I just have that side of me. So, you know, you never know. I'm always be prepared. I'm not training for anything except, but I'm always going to be prepared. You know, I know we talked about doing a high rocks, and I'm also just not big on like fads. So it's like, and maybe it's not a fad. Maybe it will stick around for a long time. People call CrossFit a fad. It's still around. So I don't want to hate on it. I think it's really cool that has a low barrier of entry for a lot of people to do something, because I don't care what you do. I don't think everyone should do CrossFit. I don't think everyone should do powerlifting. I don't think everyone should do Olympic weightlifting. I don't think everyone should do, you know, running. I think you find what you have passion for and do it. But you do have to do something. There's so much science coming out now that being sedentary is worse than eating a shitty diet, right? So, you know, you got to be able to, you got to get up and move. Our bodies are meant to move and circulate and, I don't know, just be strong and capable. And I couldn't imagine going through life and not wanting to push myself physically. You just feel so good when you do something hard and you exert this insane amount of effort and you're tired and exhausted at the end, but you just feel so much better for it at the end, where yes, it might be hard in the moment. It might suck a little bit in the moment, but you know at the end of it, you're like, oh, I'm going to feel so much better than if I sat on my couch and, you know, watched TV like a fat ass all day and just ate garbage. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just, like I said, maybe I'm just a little bit of a psycho. This is a training that would be in my power hour, my military athlete. I would probably put this in LFG, and this could easily be also like just the iron and engine. So this could actually be this is a well-rounded workout for anybody. but it really, if I was looking at this like military power hours, where I'd really look at this for, it's like a little more grunt style, no real high skill other than a rope climb movement, pretty low skill, but more style, more of a move real weight, move your body, and get over obstacles. And so this is a style of workout that I would definitely do for military and power hour, but also would throw in for fun, for funsies, for Iron and Engine and or LFG. So yeah, look for this one coming. So we're gonna do a 20-minute AMRAP of 10 deadlifts, 3 rope climbs, 10 sandbag cleans, and 10 burpee box get overs. So this is at a 42-inch box. So you can use your hands and feet to get over the box. And it kind of shows like how, okay, you got to get over stuff sometimes. Sometimes you got to be able to get your body over things. And so I really like this movement, especially for military and power hour, but it also serves a purpose for even general population. So, being able to climb over a fence or get over whatever, it can even mimic in a sense like a muscle up in a sense, right? Because you do the push up, you're gonna press up actually onto the box and then use your feet to get up and over your hips. So I really like that movement a lot. And it gets your heart rate up really high. So one of my favorite things. So we'll get warmed up. I don't know what weights. We'll probably go a little bit lighter on weight, nothing crazy. Probably like 275 for deadlifts. And then the 150 sandbag clean. So, I think one thing that a lot of people will be like, oh, you do a lot of pulling off the floor. And I do a lot of pulling off the floor because I truly believe that, our strength sometimes rely on it. It's having big quads is awesome. And, being quad dominant sometimes in some of your movements is great. But in real life, I feel like if you don't have a strong posterior chain, if your glutes, hamstrings, low back aren't strong, right, that's when we can tend to hurt ourselves. And so learning how to use them properly and get them strong so we can be capable of shit, right? Picking kids up off the floor, picking your buddy up off the floor if if someone had a few too many on New Year's Eve. So a lot of great reasons to pull from the floor. Don't be scared of it. I think anybody, we've talked about this all the time, right? Like anybody tells you deadlifting is bad for your back is completely lying to you. I don't need to say it over and over again, but I will. So yeah, we're gonna hit our posterior chain and then we're gonna throw a little skill work in. I think a lot of people going into the military also forget about rope climbs, and you do a shit ton of them in the military. So learning how to properly and efficiently move up a rope is huge. So I love rope climbing. I think it's really fun and I get a really good workout in it. Not like normally when I have them in a workout, I just enjoy it. But it gets really hard and taxing. And so being able to do it efficiently, because you will be asked to do it very often in the military. So picking a sandbag up is like picking up, weight off the floor. That's not a barbell. And I like that. So yeah, this is a fun workout. Let's see how it goes. 20-minute AMRAP. In my mind, how I would look at this, when I'm coming up with workouts like this, right? Like time domains, okay. I think a 15, 20-minute workout is right on that like moderately long pace. If you can get into the 30s and 40s, I just don't think you need to do them all that often, maybe once a week max. So I like that 20-minute time domain to really hit your heart rate and kind of hit a sustained pace, right? You shouldn't see this big fluctuation in this heart rate spikes and then lowers. So it should you should be able to elevate your heart rate and kind of keep it there and sustain it. 10 deadlifts should be pretty quick. 3 rope climbs is gonna probably be close to a minute-ish. 10 sandbag cleans, definitely gonna be a minute. Later the rounds, it'll probably start to get a little bit creep over. And then 10 burpee box get overs at 42 inches should be about a minute as well. So each one of these rounds should be close to between 3 and 4 minutes. So we should be right around the 5 round range is where I look at that. Putting your head down and kind of keep moving, right? Never taking too long of breaks. I feel like when I take a break in a workout, I let my mind start to creep. Those weak thoughts start to get in, and they can sometimes slow me down. So if I do take a break, try to keep your chest up, keep your head up. I know I don't always do that. But you should too. But I'm not actually saying this for myself. Keep my chest up, head up, take a couple deep breaths and then right back onto the movement, right? Even if you just get one, just keep chipping away at it, right? So the more you have time to sit and think, the more you start to let doubt creep in, let weak thoughts creep in. So keep them at bay by keep moving. So here we go, it's a fun one. Remember, this is a sustained pace, right? So just trying to keep moving. I'll look at the clock when I finish my first round and basically try to that'll tell me for 20 minutes how many rounds I should get to. So, and then just try to maintain that pace, right? Not taking too long of breaks, really starting to push a little bit when it starts to get hard. Keep my weak thoughts in check, and just keep moving, so. Yes, here we go.
really awesome workout. And you really had to control it, control your pacing. Because if you went too hard, you'd blow up so fast. Like when I tried to push the pace a little bit on some of my movements, the heart rate just jumped and I knew I couldn't sustain that. So really my first 2 rounds, I felt really nice and controlled. And I was like, yeah, I can hold this pace. I think my first round was like 3:30. I came off second round at 7:04. So pretty close. I dropped just a little bit after that. I think I came off the next one like 11:40, something like that. So yeah, then 16 minutes flat, and then, or just over 16 minutes, and then 16:15 actually. And then I got I was 4 reps short of 5th round. So really happy with that. I could have probably pushed. I took a little bit too much breaks where I was leaning over, starting to let the mind play tricks. Yeah, there's a couple moments where I probably could have pushed. The rope climb sandbag part was the worst part. Like that was the hard part. And then the burpee box jump overs or get overs, just nice and controlled on those. You don't want to push those either too fast, but you don't want to go too slow either, right? So, stepping back and just getting right into that next rep, not wasting too much movement in there. The deadlifts were by far the break of the workout. Probably could have went 3:15. Pushed it a little bit harder, but no, it was good. You don't always have to go heavy. So the sandbag after the deadlifts definitely was a challenge. I was really having to, there's a lot of technique to a sandbag clean. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. And it's the same as picking up a buddy off the ground or your kid off the ground. There is technique, right? Yeah, if you don't use your legs or drive your hips through the floor, drive your feet through the floor, yeah, you could hurt your back because you're putting all of the strain on your back and not using your glutes and hamstrings and even quad. So, picking up a sandbag, maybe that'll be a video next on its own, giving you some technique on a sandbag. So, but yeah, that was really fun. That's a phenomenal workout. I mean, the thing is, that could be a standalone workout, right? You got some strength with the deadlift and the sandbag. You got some conditioning with the whole workout was conditioning, but getting your own body over a box and also getting your own body up a rope. You hit some good back muscles in that as well, plus your heart rate. So really fun workout. That will definitely be coming up for Iron Engine, LFG, and definitely my military program. If you look at all of these movements for military especially, everyone talks about when you're training for the military, it's focused on running, swimming, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Like you have to do those things. But if you're not lifting weights, if you're not doing movements like box get overs, rope climbs, sandbag cleans, deadlifts, bench press even, it's really hard for you to push those muscles to fatigue. You're basically just hitting high reps of body weight stuff. So lifting weights I think it also has a lot to do with injury prevention. One of the biggest things you see why guys get kicked out of buds or military selections is because they get injured. And, I was very fortunate. I came in very well prepared. I came in with a lot of strength training just like this. And I never felt the fatigue on my anywhere, right? Where I didn't get shin splints like most guys got, right? A lot of guys had low back pain. A lot of guys lived on Motrin to get through because of the pain. And I remember feeling like this isn't as hard as the stuff that I did to prepare for this, right? And that's how you have to prepare, right? If you do not prepare more so than what you're going to be asked to do, when you're asked to do it, then you have to hope that you can do it. This is for sure like, hey, if I'm asked to do this, I'm going to do it. So it's going to be easy even. If you guys, anybody you're looking to go into a military selection, come check out the military athlete program. So we have a free week sample on there. And hit me up if you want in my DMs, and I can give you a code. I'll hook you up. I know a guy. So anyways, all right, last part, hard truth of the week. I was thinking about this last night. I, like most other men, love to do bench press, right? Love to hit upper body pump sessions, but those do not pay the bills. If you are not working out your legs, if you're not hitting heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy front squats, heavy split squats, heavy lunges, right? That is what pays our mortgage, right? Bench press, pull-ups, dips, those pay our cable bill, right? But it ain't gonna keep a roof over your head. It ain't gonna keep you fed, right? That's what the legs are for. So you have to train the legs because like I know, like some people say, weak legs equal weak minds. So hit those legs because those are our foundation. And all right, that's it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Give us some ideas of stuff that you want to see, talk about, do, whatever. Let us know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, do the thing. And as always, don't forget to pay the man.